2017 marks the 40th anniversary of Annie Hall, the landmark picture that helped Woody Allen establish himself as an artist. So much has been said about the movie over the years, but did you know it was originally conceived to be a very different film? Today, I'm going to talk about how Annie Hall became the movie we know and love, as well as how its development holds a powerful lesson for writers and storytellers everywhere.
I don't know, I miss you.
Oh, Jesus, really?
The film was written by Woody Allen with the help of Marshall Brickman. The two of them sought to tell the story of Alvy, a man trapped in his own thoughts who lived his life aimlessly searching for meaning. Essentially, your typical Woody Allen role. The screenplay still featured Diane Keaton's titular character, but the relationship between her and Alvy was only intended to be one of the film's many subplots. Instead, the story originally focused around the couple witnessing and investigating a murder. While there are conflicting reports on whether or not this and some of the other subplots were even shot, Annie Hall's first cut was almost 2.5 hours long, a far cry from the film's final 93-minute runtime. According to Marshall Brickman, this original cut felt like it was running off in 9 different directions, as if several films could get made from what was there. Following this assembly cut, Woody Allen took the footage and began to rework the film until it became the movie we know today. At some point, he stopped looking at Alvy and Annie's relationship as a subplot and realized that it was the emotional heart of the movie. Suddenly, the vignettes that revolved around Alvy were given context. The film was no longer about his scatterbrained musings, but rather how they tied into and informed his perspective on love. One of the greatest things about Annie Hall is how organic it feels. It isn't bogged down by plot contrivances or the need to be dramatic, because it was only intended to be a pit stop in a larger story. In many ways, that's what a lot of relationships are. Detours we find ourselves traveling in search of another route. It's incredible to think that Annie Hall could have easily come out as a train wreck, but things like this happen all the time. People become so invested in seeing things come across as intended that they sometimes fail to give their projects room to breathe. It's easy to forget that films are made in the edit, that until they're assembled, they're only a concept. A popular saying is that art can have a life of its own, and I think that's what happened in the case of Annie Hall. Sometimes the best way to tell a story might be to tell a different one and then work back from there. In a literature and film class I took my senior year of high school, my class was given the advice of writing essays in reverse. To start with your body paragraphs and then write down every argument you could so that when you were finished, you could review everything and create the strongest thesis from it. In many ways, that's what happened with Annie Hall. Woody Allen threw every idea he had at the wall and built his film around whatever stuck. Even a writer as talented as Allen makes mistakes. He's just wise enough to edit around them. So for new writers and filmmakers, the point I'm trying to make is, don't be so worried about those first drafts of your projects. After all, you might find a better story in the edit.